Hey guys, Foxdrop here with a full game commentary. This is a game that I've played in the past. This is a replay that I'm looking over. I'm not playing this live. And this game I'm playing as Jungle Rammus. Now I thought this would be a pretty good game to showcase because Rammus as a champion has gained huge popularity ever since Shook played him in Worlds. Now, Rammus has always been an amazing solo queue jungler. He's never been top tier as far as the meta goes, but as far as solo queue goes, he's one of those champions that always does ridiculously well. So some other examples of champions like that would be like Riven or Fiora. Those champions you don't see too much in competitive play especially, but they're always extremely strong in solo queue. So for your runes and masteries when you're playing as Rammus, this game there's actually a fair few things you can do on Rammus. I've seen some rune pages where they go full attack speed, even in their blues and their yellows. And you can do that if you want to, but this game I have gone attack speed reds, move speed Quints, armor yellows, and cooldown reduction blues or MR blues, whichever one you prefer. And masteries, I've gone 921. You can go like 0.21.9. You can maybe even go 21 points in utility if you really want to. You may even be able to go like 0.30 or even 21.90, something like that. To be perfectly honest, it really depends how you like to play Rammus. And there's a lot of different stuff you can do. But for starters, just go with 921. There's nothing too wrong you can do by doing that. Now, I wasn't really talking too much about this level 1 invade because there was nothing too interesting to say about it. Basically, maybe I should talk a few things about it because that's what I just said was a complete lie. Something very interesting happens here. So, sorry about that. So what happens right here, and why this is important, is we catch Janna out of position, she blows her flash and her exhaust. And that's all you really need to know about this level 1 invade. But it also spurs my decision making right here. The reason why I'm moving up to my topside jungle right now is because I want to start a blue buff so that I can then work my way down the jungle and gank this Janna who has no summoners. That's why I'm starting a blue here as opposed to starting a red and working my way up. I know Janna has no summoners, so I know she's probably going to be a fairly easy kill. So you start with your W at level 1. Your W is really nice for clearing the jungle. You do thorns damage, and also it boosts your armor, so you take less damage. Not only do you take less damage with your increased armor, but because of your passive, you also then get extra AD. So it's really nice overall. Also, something to note is that whenever you're moving through the jungle with your Powerball, don't start with your Powerball because you want your Powerball to expire as you're reaching the camp, or basically you want to hit the camp with your Powerball, with your Q, rather than speeding up to the camp and then just walking up to it. You'd rather walk a few steps as you're leaving a camp and then use your Powerball so that you actually ram into the camp that you're hitting. So I'll just do a standard level 3 clear here, and this is a mistake that I've made here, is that I'm just going to pause to label my biggest mistake here. My first mistake is that I should know Lee Sin he's going to be here. But to be honest, Lee Sin being here is really good by him. It's not really a mistake by me necessarily, but it's mostly a good play by him. It's more a good play by him than a mistake by me. But I should know that he might be around this place because I should know that he's started at his red buff. The reason for that is because he actually did show up here on a ward that we had if I was paying attention. And also I saw him move through mid and walk down, so I should know he's going to be around this bottom side. And the reason why this is a big mistake, secondly, is because face checking like this, when you're on pretty low health, is not very smart. And my health potion has just started ticking. I should have put this on ages ago, but I don't. And so I get caught out of position and I try to run away. But this is where I think, like, I don't like blaming teammates, but this is was a mistake by Jace to just ignore me and to let me die. I pinged him a few times, he should have helped me, but still, whatever, it happens, mistakes happen. If I'm, like, in game, I remember when I was playing this game, I got quite frustrated in this moment because I lost my double buffs. It's a really bad death, and in my opinion, it's a really avoidable death if he had just gated me or prevented Ari from killing me. There's loads of things he could have done to save me, and he just didn't do it. Now, that frustrates me, but at the same time, he's human. The reason why he made that mistake was most likely just because he wasn't paying any attention, and that happens all the time. He's human. I mean, there are loads of times when I haven't paid attention, and so it's not worth arguing about. Definitely not worth arguing about. Yes, it's frustrating, but the important thing is not that you get frustrated. The important thing is that when you are frustrated, you don't let it control your actions, and you don't act out upon it, which is what you don't want to be doing here by raging at Jace. So, even though I was thwarted in my plan to go and gank this Janna early, Flash has a 5-minute cooldown. There's still a pretty big window of opportunity to do that. I only need to kill her before 6 minutes. We're only 3 minutes into the game now, so that is a good time to go and kill Jenna. I get the nice kill onto her and puts me back in the game just a little bit. So with item builds on Rammus, I like to rush this cool coat item and then Moby Boots into Home Guards. That's what seems to be all the rage nowadays, is getting Moby Boots into Home Guards. It gives you a lot of... You want to be ganking a lot when you're playing Rammus. And this Quill Coat item gives you huge Thorns damage in the jungle, which synergizes quite nicely with your W, because that's already Thorns damage. And it just... You don't clear very quickly as Rammus, so having this item makes you clear a little bit faster and also really helps with your regen too. And it's just a nice item overall. Skill order, I like to get 2 points in my W, and then I will max my E for the increased taunt duration primarily, but also because you get increased damage with the armor pen from your E. Now, Rammus is a very gank heavy jungler, so you want to be ganking a lot when you're playing him in the early game. So that's what I'm looking to do right now. I'm looking for places where I can go and have some pressure, where I can go and gank. But I'm also kind of wary of this Lee Sin because I'm kind of scared of him. So I'm going into this Ahri here, pretty standard gank. I charge up my Powerball before I get in there just so that I can get some extra speed as I'm going in here. Jace has a really good like insect play with his hammer to knock Ahri out of tower range. So we get a nice kill off onto her. Whether or not it was worth it is arguable because I'm pretty sure I got the kill there, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But either way, she loses some stuff onto tower, so that's okay. But it's a nice kill onto a nice gank, a nice kill. And I'm still ganking here as well now. Like I say, Rammus, heavy gank style. I see a good opportunity to go into bot. I get this Corki in a taunt mid-Valkyrie, which means that he then stands still and starts attacking me after his Valkyrie ends, which is nice. It gives us time to catch up. I, however, die in this game because I was already on kind of low health. And you're pretty squishy on Rammus early, especially when your W is not up. You're very squishy. So, I die. That sucks, but whatever. We still pick it. It's still worth it. Like, if I was really afraid of dying, I would have backed off. I didn't back off. I was okay dying as long as we picked up the kill on Corki, and that's all good. So when I go back, I get my Moby Boots, and I get a few consumables. I'm looking at the time as well, and around this time, blue buff, or your first buff should be respawning, and because I started at my blue buff, I know this is going to be up, so I'm just going to take this away. You can see I actually taunted the golem there. That's because I wanted the armor pen from my E. It reduces armor by 15 whenever you taunt someone. I wanted the armor pen so that I would just do a bit more damage to him, to the golem, and then I'm just going to mop up the blue buff here. The reason why it was important for me to take this blue early was like as soon as it spawned is because this Lee Sin is so hungry to counter jungle me that I really need to be quite wary of that. I need to be aware that he is going to try something and that I can't I can't get sloppy in my jungle. I chuck a ward down for my top laner just to help him out a little bit, and now I'm going to go and get my red buff here as well. You can see I'm using a lot of wards here because it's really important through this early stage of the jungle that I'm not getting counter jungled too heavily by Lee Sin, because that's what Lee Sin does best. And again, this is just very basic and simple ganks off onto bot lane here as well. You really just roll into a lane and you just screw them over. Lane ganking is very good on Rammus as well if you've got Moby Boots, which you should have when you're playing him. You can just lane gank and just kill people. It's quite there's nothing really to explain like that. Or you can just go through the river. It can be risky going through tribal like areas like this because they'll see you quite early if this bush is warded and they can run away from you. But if it's not warded, then you're usually okay. To be honest, Rammus' ganks are just so binary, they're so straightforward and so easy that it doesn't really matter about how you execute them necessarily. As long as you avoid minions in your Powerball so it doesn't get interrupted, you should really be all good. And right now what I'm looking for is an opportunity to have more impact, but also because I see that Jace dies mid, I thought maybe I can hold something there, but at the same time there's nothing there to hold, so I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do now is to try and get a gank off onto this Yasuo here as well. Now this is not an amazing gank opportunity because Vel'Koz doesn't have much mana, but we shouldn't need a lot of mana here. I'm actually just going to rewind this just a little bit actually to explain it a little bit. Like you really don't need any mechanics when you're playing Rammus, but this is something which you have to be doing. Is when you're rolling and they're hating, is you need to avoid minions. If I just try to run towards Yasuo, I'm going to get blocked by minions and my Powerball is going to get interrupted. So I walk around the minions and then I kind of force him to just... like right now he's jumping around because he's Yasuo, but he doesn't really have anywhere to go. As soon as I catch him in a taunt, he's going to be screwed anyway. And as soon as I catch him in a taunt, I just put all my damage, my ulti down. I put my W on because then it means that he's going to be taunting himself. I've got red buff, so I flash on top of him because I can slow him down and we can get a nice kill. And that's what we end up doing. Even though this Vel'Koz didn't even have a lot of mana, he didn't need the mana. And we're all good. I see Ahri coming in here as well through the river, and I just roll out like no problem because I ran behind the minion wave. There's no way she's gonna charm me, and then I kind of juke her Q, so she can't kill me. I get out alive. Sadly, Vel'Koz dies, but I don't die, which is the important thing, right? Like, who cares about teammates? As long as I don't die, that's all good. Of course, I'm joking, but not really. So I pick up my Kindle Gem here, which is going to go towards my Spirit of the Ancient Golem. I'm sorry if you can hear those leak sounds in the background. Please stop messaging me. And now, there's not really too much to do. I see Lee Sin's in my jungle here, and I'm kind of scared. But Lee Sin didn't have the damage to take me down by himself quickly enough, so we managed to mop him up. Now at this stage of the game, I'm trying to gank places where I can, but I'm also trying to not die because I'm extremely squishy. When you do this home guard Moby Boots rush especially, you are very, very runnable to invades. But you also want to try and gank as much as you can. There's no point picking Rammus if you're not ganking heavily in the early game. So I'm just clearing a little bit of the jungle here, I may as well not waste my time. But right now we can also see that because we have no mid lane, it's kind of hard for us to make plays necessarily because we have to be aware that this Ahri can be wherever at all times, and also Lee Sin is quite strong too. When the enemy mid lane and the enemy jungler are both stronger than your jungler and your mid laner, at least in like skirmishes, you always have to be very cautious about what you do and the decisions you make, because if you go out of your depth a little bit, then you're just gonna die instantly. They're both mid and jungle can have huge impacts on the map, so you need to ward up a lot so that you know where they are and you know where they aren't, so you know they can't try something funny. Now here, I'm going to try and do a little roll onto this Ahri. She uses her ulti and her ignite to try and kill me, and so I blow both of those. I don't die, which is great. If I died then, that would have been pretty embarrassing, but I don't, so that's all good. And this ward here is pretty important. Like, when you have Ancient Golem, you have like a perma ward. So this area here to be warded, you can just ward this all the time, and it's actually a really, really nice and important ward to have. It'll stop any invades coming in onto you. Again, really, really simple, really simple ganks. Like, there's really nothing to explain here. You can catch people out of position so easy in Rammus with Moby Boots and your Q. They don't even really need to be pushed out that far. You see them, you roll towards them, and you kill them. That's really all there is to it. There's nothing else to say. I'm skipping over a lot of these ganks because really it's Rammus. There's nothing special about it. So this is a fight here which I'm going to pause because I want to analyze the situation a little bit to show you how it happens and what we can be doing. So first thing to note is that Jace is in spawn here. So Jace is not here. This makes this play very risky for us. Also, the second thing to note is that at this point in the game, they're probably a bit stronger than us and we need to be careful, especially when our mid laner is not here, like I say. So the only thing I want to do here is to try and steal Dragon. There's not really an opportunity to fight right now, and we need to be quite careful. So Janda tornadoes me. I see that that's not good, like she interrupts me from getting in on the dragon, so I get out of there. Maybe this would be a good opportunity for Vel'Koz to try and do some damage, but he can't really do anything. Blitzcrank gets caught out from a charm. Now Vel'Koz is in a bit of trouble as well. Lee Sin tries to insect but fails. And then I'm just getting out of here, or I'm trying to. And right now this is also a mistake. My tremors are up. I should be putting my tremors on, but I can't. Well, I can, but I just suck. And these guys chased me a bit too hard. Now this was really, it was a bad idea of us to try and even contest that dragon. Maybe trying to steal it is good, but contesting it, no, that's not going to happen. There's no point trying to do that. So that was done by us, and they could have maybe picked up one kill from us overextending a little bit, like perhaps that Blitzcrank. But when they chase that hard, that's not smart, because they're, excuse me, yeah, they're overextending too much. And Jace was able to come back into the fight there. The biggest reason why we couldn't fight that dragon play is because we didn't have Jace, because he was in spawn. But obviously when you're chasing into the enemy jungle, then people from spawn, it gets you pretty quickly. And that's what happened, and we mopped up quite nicely there, which was all good for us. All things considered, we actually ended up doing pretty well there. So right now I'm bought a giant spell that's going to go towards my Sunfire Cape. Sunfire Cape is such a nice item on Rammus because you do so much damage with your Tremors, your Sunfire, and then your W as well. It's so good. But right now I'm just getting in a nice... I try to get in a good gank here where I try to flash over the Tornado, but I think I fail. But I'm just trying to get some damage off onto this Janna here because I think we want to get a really fast kill before the enemy team collapses in onto us. But Janna ults, she's trying to ult Janna away for... I don't know why, but she does it. I guess she thought Janna was going to die to her ulti, but it doesn't happen. Janna walks away, and now we all just need to get out of here because Ahri's coming down. People are pinging that Ahri's coming down, and this is where it's quite important. Ahri doesn't have her ulti, so I know she can't kill me. I know she doesn't have her ulti because it's been called by one of my teammates. But if she can't kill me, but she can kill my allies. So what I need to do is to stop her killing my allies. That's all I need to do. I know I'm not going to be able to kill her, so it may seem a bit futile me trying to go for her, but all I just need to do is stop her killing my friends, which is what we end up doing, which is good. But now this is where I make a mistake. I tried to taunt her right here. As you can see, my animation almost went off, but she walked into the bush and I lost vision. So these guys, if they want to kill me, they're going to have to dedicate kind of hard. I get a nice taunt off onto Lee Sin, so he dies. And if these guys dedicate onto me, they're going to die. I'm not quite sure why Jace flashes this opportunity here. They're not gonna die, but this is all kind of like baited. Like that was a baited exhaust. This is a baited heal here coming out of Tristana as well. Like we should be going a lot harder in this team fight, and this is just being passive for no real reason. And it's quite. This is a play which you will see at lower leagues quite a lot, but not necessarily at higher leagues because higher elo players tend to be quite aggressive in certain situations where they know they can be, whereas people who are of the lower leagues tend to be more scared if they think, you know, they're maybe low on health or they see an enemy. They don't really think about, for example, cooldowns, mana costs, summoner spells, that kind of thing. They tend to just get scared and run away. So that fight could have gone a lot better for us, but it didn't even go that terribly. Now I want to show you the power of Rammus right here. Right here is like the... just... disgusting. This is the definition of Rammus, right? In this play right now. So Yasuo is pushing down this top lane, but he's low on health. Here I am, home guards, Moby boots, zooming out of spawn. I know he's on low health. I know he can't outrun me. So I just catch up to him from spawn all the way up here. I get him and I kill him. Rammus is ridiculously fast, and he is so good at chasing people. And if you can chase people down, then really they can't run away from you. If you're given the opportunity to chase them, there's not really much they can do unless they can get bailed out of a certain situation. Now this right here is, how much gold do I have? Let's see. I have 1.6k, which means that I can almost afford my Sunfire Cape. And I can now afford my Sunfire Cape if I sell my pink ward. So I get my Sunfire Cape, which is a pretty good item to have at this stage of the game. It's going to help my AoE damage, it's going to make me tankier, and yeah, it's a really nice item like I was saying before. Also, Armour is always a nice item to get on Rammus because of your passive, where you have increased AD based off of your armour. So right now we can't really do anything to that tower to defend it, so there's no point. Like, we don't want to risk defending something and just die when we can't defend it. Just cut your losses and get out of it. And we know they're doing dragon here as well, but this, I'm going to pause here and analyze this fight because I analyzed the last dragon fight and I want to analyze this one too. The biggest difference here is that we now have Jace. This is a 5v5, and so this could work a lot better in our favour. However, the enemy team has also acquired a bit of a gold lead since the last time, so we do need to be a bit careful of just strong enemy members. So right here, I'm looking for an opportunity to go in, but I'm also being a bit scared because I know that I can get peeled away really easily. For example, there with Janna. So in the end, I decide I'm just going to try and get this Lee Sin. He flashes over the wall, but now the enemy team is running. Like, they're on the tail. They split, and like if they hadn't split, this would honestly not be that bad for us. I don't think Yasuo was there in the beginning either. So anyone we can catch out here is really good. So Ahri uses her ult. Lee Sin is a non-factor in this fight because he's on 0 health and doesn't have any summoners. And because Yasuo is slightly out of position here, we can chase onto him, which is what we do. He dies instantly, but because we are focusing him, this allows the enemy team to then focus on to us. But Rammus's hard CC is so good versus squishy people. You ult them down, you taunt them, and they just die, which is what happened there with, especially with Yasuo there. Not so much with Ahri, but yeah. And now we're still just pushing on here. There's no point us recalling here. We want to press some advantages, but as soon as I see that Corki hasn't recalled, again, the chasing factor of Rammus is amazing. And this actually, I just want to do this in really slow mo, because it might not look like this is a big deal, but this actually turns out to be quite a big deal. Like I say, chasing a Rammus is really amazing. But this is the important play here. Is that Lee Sin comes to try and save save Corki, sorry, by tanking me. But what happens is that as soon as I know Corki thinks he can kill me, they both think they can kill me, and to be honest, if it was just, you can understand why they think that. We're kind of low on health. But now this is the important play here, is I save my taunt for Corki. I'm taunting Corki right now. What this means is it protects our Vel'Koz, and also it applies the debuff onto Corki, where we get increased armor pen, and it also stops Corki from running away. So a worse version of this play would be if I just instantly taunted Lee Sin, we focus him down, he would die, but I would also die to Corki most likely, and then he would just fly away and escape. But because he doesn't do that, because I save my taunt for Corki, we're able to kill him really quickly, he can't get out of the situation, and we get 2 kills for free there, which is really nice. Like, that's good for us, considering we're not doing amazingly in this game. So what I'm going to buy now is I'm indecisive this game, because Ahri is really fed, so I need to be cautious of her, and I want MR. But at the same time, Rammus works really well with armor and armor items. So I decided I'm going to go rush a Thornmail here. Now there are a lot of items I could buy: Banshee's Veil, Randuin's. They're all good choices. Thornmail obviously is a good choice too. The reason why I'm going for Thornmail is because even though Ahri is fed, I've decided, well, I'm just going to taunt up Yasuo or Corki, and I'm just going to be able to do what I can with those guys. I'm going to try and ignore Ahri. At least a lot of Ahri's damage you can avoid. If you don't get charmed, chances are she's not going to do a lot of damage to you. You can also try and dodge her Q as well. I know her ulti and her W you can't dodge, but they're not usually the brunt of her burst. So I think I can get away with not having too much magic resist right now. And even if I do die to Ahri, even if Ahri kills me, she's going to have to use quite a lot to kill me. And if she's killing me, she's not killing someone else on my team who is more of a priority target, like, you know, Tristana, well, anyone but me, basically. So we get some kills there in mid lane, and now we get the mid tower too. Now I just roll up onto this Corki and taunt him, which procs it forces Janna to use Crucible on him, which is really nice. That's like a 3-minute cooldown. That's a pretty big one to have. That's like a summon spell, basically. But now I'm trying to organize my team. I'm like, go back. I'm pinging them to go back. I'm writing in the chat as well, please go back, because we don't want to overstay here. This is probably, if we fail here, if something goes wrong here, it's because we're going to overstay. If we stay too long in the mid lane, they're all going to, like, the people who are dead are going to respawn on full health. We're not going to be on full health. It's also a really good place for them to fight, because we can't really fight them back. They're under the safety of their own tower, and we're not strong enough to be able to tower dive just yet. So if they were to start a fight here, even if we're stronger than them, we're not going to win the fight, because we can't get onto their backline, because in order to do that, we'd have to tower dive them, and when we're tower diving them, that's not going to end too well. So I'm just pushing the side lane here. When you have a Sunfire Cape and your W on, you tend to push side lanes quite quickly, especially when I have a Thornmail too. Although minions don't tend to do a lot of damage, take a lot of damage from Thornmail, but still. So now it's just kind of, this is almost like an awkward situation right now, because lane phase is over. The ganking element of Rammus is not really here, and now he's not a great sieger. He's so hit and miss as a sieger. He's very good, but also atrocious at the same time. He's okay at pushing towers because his ulti damages towers, and his W gives him AD, but he's not amazing at it, because if you compare him to someone who actually is like an AD carry, or like Zed or someone, he doesn't really compare in that regard. But he can also tower dive quite nicely, so you can tower dive people and then make a siege like that. So right now what I'm trying to do is trying to tank some damage from my team by taunting people and trying to block skill shots. As soon as we see a relatively good time to turn, that's what we're going to try and do. However, we also still need to be careful, because this is a 4v5. We don't have Jace. Jace started a little while back, so we do need to be a bit afraid. But Vel'Koz gets an amazing ult off, which just destroys so many people and even kills Yasuo. And as soon as I have my ball up, I can just roll in and I can get people as well. Now we can probably chase down some more people too, although sadly I'm faster than everyone else, so they're not going to be able to catch up with me even if I do catch someone. But we get some extra kills out of the situation, which was a 4v5, just because we managed to kite quite effectively. If we'd stayed and tried to fight, then obviously that would have ended quite poorly for us. And if we were just to fight a flat out like team fight, then we would have found it quite hard. But because we were baiting around and then catching people and just focusing quite nicely, and I was playing the role of a tank quite nicely where I just wanted to soak up as much damage as possible, then it worked out quite nicely for us. But Dragon's up, and that's really what I want to focus on right now. I don't really care about that fight mid because I just want to get Dragon down. I pop my ulti just because your ulti has such a low cooldown, you may as well use it when you're taking down Dragon or whatever it is. And now I'm looking for a pick here. I try to get onto Yasuo, my Q time's out, so I can't do that. And now I'm just sweeping wards here around Baron. Probably the next biggest play is most likely going to be a Baron play. So anyway, let me rewind this and analyze this team fight a little bit. So I stomp this around. I'm here stomping wards, and my allies are here with the enemies here as well. In fact, let me just get rid of all that. We'll see how it goes down here. Yasuo is trying to engage this. We get a nice engage off onto him, but then they turn it around. This is a really nice kind of like a synergy between Lee Sin and Yasuo, where Lee Sin kicks on and then Yasuo ults onto them. And this is our AD carry as well, mind you. We're also kind of split. You'll notice that Blitzcrank is down here, and we have... I don't know where the hell Jace is. Where is Jace? Jace, where are you? Wait. Okay, Jace is also in spawn. That doesn't help. So we have one of our members in spawn, and we're also split. So this guy is just going to get absolutely obliterated. Like, there's no way this guy is going to survive. So this right now is just a terrible fight for us. These guys have got us completely split. With 4v5, our AD carry has died instantly. We need to get out of here. There's no point trying to chase down that Blitzcrank. He's not going to die. They should chase onto me, but thankfully they were kind of slow on doing that, so they didn't manage to get me. I'm going to try and run as fast as my little turtle legs will take me. And we almost kill him, actually. We almost kill that Ari and Janna. But I just need to get out of here. If I die here, this is most likely going to be a Baron play. If I die, they're going to get Baron out of that. So I can't die there. It's good for me to just kind of almost like bait my team to an extent, so that someone else dies as long as I don't. That's the important thing. And I'm just going to push out this... Am I going to push out this top lane? No. Am I going to try and catch these in with Blitzcrank? Yes. And then I'm going to... I actually flash onto Janna here as well. Can we get Baron off this? Yes, we can. Or can we? No, we can't. Because Tristan's bot lane. Alright, let me rewind this and just talk about this a little bit. I skipped through this bit because I didn't think anything was going to happen, but when we have pretty good wards in the enemy jungle and we feel like we can make these plays, then catching people out like this becomes really important. So I flash over the tornado, something which I tried to do in the early game but failed. Flash over the tornado just to catch Janna out of position. I figure if I blow a summoner, honestly blowing a summoner for that kill onto Janna is not really that great, but when I feel like it's going to set up a Baron play, it's worth it. However, what I didn't take into consideration is the fact that Tristana is bot lane and Vel'Koz was dead. Now Vel'Koz wouldn't do too much to this dragon, but Tristana definitely would. So I want to... Yeah, we can't do... I want to do Baron, but we can't. So now I'm charging up my Powerball and I'm going to try and walk over to Corki and catch him. I'm not going to be able to get him, but we can at least try and get this Yasuo over here instead, who Jace is fighting now as well. Don't attack him through the wind wall, Jace. Alright, here we go. I'm coming in hot. The Wombo combo where Blitzcrank pulls Yasuo onto my ball. Just the way I like it. And we kill him. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Alright. So, like I said, the biggest play is most likely going to happen is around Baron, and that's what's been happening these past few kills. However, at this stage of the game, I am pretty much strong enough to probably flat out tower dive any tower right now in any kind of team fight. As long as we catch someone out of position and we get a nice favourable team fight, I think that should work well for us. Blitzcrank gets a really nice flash hook, but it doesn't really work too. We don't actually get anything out of it. And now I want to pause just to analyse how this fight's going down. So Ari is just wrecking this Tristana. Like, Tristana has no health just from one Ari combo. Ari's just destroyed her. We dedicated a lot onto getting Janna, and we didn't even get her. So we don't have a lot of cooldowns, and we're really on the back foot here. Ari's done really well to even just, like, she's instantly chunked this Tristana down to 0 health, and surprise, surprise, Jason's in base, he's not with her. It always seems to be a common theme. We don't have this Jace with us, which kind of sucks. So yeah, we're in a bit of trouble right now. I try to fight a little bit here, but really I have no mana, I can't do too much, and I just overextend a little bit. I try to actually kill Ari, but her passive is too strong. Can't kill Ari, and instead we're in a lot of trouble. I die, Vel'Koz dies, and Jace is looking like he's going to be in a bad sour spot too. He kills Lee Sin, but he also dies too. So we go 1 for 3 there, which is obviously not good for us, considering we had the momentum in this game. That's kind of bad, but at least they're not going to be able to get anything else off of this apart from the kills. But this pink ward here has done wonders. As you can see, the power of Rammus with his home guards and powerball, you should be able to chase people quite nicely. But this is where everything kind of goes tits up for when it shouldn't, really. So Tristana is standing a little too close to Yasuo because she's in melee range, and she also gets chunked down by this Ari's combo. So we lose our AD carry instantly, which turns this fight in a like, this is a 3 for 0, which is obviously worse than a 3 for 1, but not much worse than a 3 for 1, which we just did. But the reason why this is going to be so much worse for us compared to how the play was before is because this is right outside Baron. If you're dying right outside Baron, you're going to lose that Baron, provided of course that it is up. So not only do we lose the kills here, we lose the Baron, which is really, really bad. Like, and for some reason as well, I think at this stage of the game, I mean, Jace hasn't really been with us. He hasn't really wanted to play with the team, and now he's split pushing a side lane, which he doesn't need to be doing when we're losing our mid tower, which he could be defending, and there's a million minions in our top wave as well. But again, the power of Rammus with his home guards, I'm ridiculously strong right now. I taunt this Corki and put my ulti on, and look at the damage I do onto Corki. It's absolutely disgusting. Yasuo dies as well. Lee Sin ain't going anywhere either, and I'm just a machine. Like, Rammus is just ridiculous. If you can taunt the enemy AD carry, then the damage you deal is really underrated, especially if you have Thornmail. Sunfire Cape is doing more damage as well. My passive, when I put my W on, combined with the fact that my taunt is shredding his armor as well, this Corki's armor, my basic attacks are destroying him. I have my passive on. Like, I am just wrecking everyone right now. As long as they're squishy, they die very, very quickly. This Corki is not having a good time against me whatsoever. Now this is a nice like initiative play where I feel like we can get a good pick off onto this Ari, because I'm rolling in, I've got some pretty good speed, and I just flash on her face, which forces her to Zhonya's. And what that means is that she's in a sitting duck when she comes out of her Zhonya's, and we can get an easy taunt off onto her, which is what I do, and she dies easily, which means she loses the tower, and now she's also going to lose her inhib as well. I also rolled towards Corki, which meant that he had to back off so he couldn't defend. And just a really, really nice situation, which already started because I managed to flash on top of that Ari's face and catch her out of position. Now we're kind of doing a semi-fight here, but not really a proper fight. We need to position away from this wind wall. I mean, that Tristana's in melee range again, but I suppose we can forgive her because the wind wall was there. She kind of had to get quite close to him. And now we're trying to find some frags while also looking towards the dragon. I jump on this Corki's face again, and with everything that I can use, just obliterate him. And now I'm chasing onto Janna here as well. She gets a nice tornado to interrupt us, but like I've said a few times this game, as long as you can chase people down with Rammus, then chances are they're not going to get away from you. And we do the exact same here to Janna. Chase her down, we kill her, and it all looks pretty gravy. We managed to pick up Ari here too, and because there's nothing really going here, like we can't end the game by any means. We can't push down a tower because there's no minions around. What we should do here is just take away the dragon. This seems like the easiest play to make, and indeed it is the best play to be making, so let's make that play and then go and recall and buy some other items. So I went for a Banshee's Veil after my Thornmail because I kind of needed that to not get blown up by Ari, and also just it's just a nice item overall, a bit of regeneration too. And now I'm going to go towards a Randuin's. Randuin's is maybe an item I should have got earlier. It's kind of, maybe I could have got my Randuin's instead of Thornmail, but I really wanted the Thornmail, and to be honest, Randuin's I can get now. It's going to give me a lot of health, and the active is going to be fairly useful as well. Probably, I should say that one of the biggest reasons I wanted Thornmail is because they have Yasuo and an AD carry, or I should say an AD carry and Yasuo, because Yasuo's Q acts as an auto attack, which means that Thornmail destroys Yasuo. Kind of. I mean, Yasuo is pretty broken anyway, but as far as it goes, it's very useful versus Yasuo. So it's really, really nice. If I taunt down Yasuo and he's forced to attack me, he gets obliterated by my Thornmail, by my W, and he gets destroyed by me. So it's really nice I'm versus that champion specifically, and of course with an AD carry it does the same thing. Now, I've got my Randuins here, which means I'm pretty much fully built, which is quite nice for less than 40 minutes into the game on a jungler. But you look at my kill participation and it's pretty high. I have 30 kill participation and we have 44 kills as a team. So right now they're pushing down the mid lane and they have an open inhib. The reason why they're pushing down so hard here is because our Vel'Koz is dead. So they can, if they force this fight here, they're going to be able to get a 4v5. I'm trying my hardest right now to block skill shots. I fail, but this is something which is kind of cool. As soon as Lee Sin jumps in onto Jace, I taunt him instantly. What that means is that he can't place a ward behind Jace and insect him out or anything like that. But right now we just need to concede this inhibitor. There's no point trying to defend this. And trying to defend objectives which you've 100% lost is one of the biggest reasons why you throw games in League. And so now Yasuo ults in as well. Wait, whoops, that's the wrong button. Let me slow this down. Yasuo ults in, and so I just taunt him. Like, this is a recurring theme in teamfights on Rammus is not only do you ult people. Oh my goodness, I can't speak. Not only do you taunt people that you want to catch out of position, you also taunt people who you don't want to kill your allies. So if someone jumps in on your allies, you can just taunt them, and it's a pretty good peel. So we managed to kill Yasuo. He's pretty easy kill for us, and now we get to do the old infamous Rammus chase down. Ari tries to get away from me. She uses 3 ulti dashes and a Zhonya's, and sorry mate, but you ain't going anywhere. I will hunt you down, I will find you. I have a very specific set of skills, and this Ari is mine. So this is quite an interesting play here as well, is that I shouldn't have been quoting Taken when really I should be talking about the game. But this inhibitor is open here, and this is obviously the number one, we've just killed Ari here, right? And this is the number one objective on the map for us right now, is to take away this inhibitor. However, this play, which I admit was a play which was called by this Vel'Koz here, is really smart. We don't all need to go onto the inhib, because this is pretty much free for us. There's only 2 people alive, and 3 people, including the mid laner and the AD carry, they can take that down. They don't need our help to take this. So what we should do instead is to push a side lane so that it then sets up a push that we can perhaps use to get an objective in the future, i.e. this outer tower here, or inner tower I should say, on the bottom lane. Like, there's no point us all rotating over to inhib when we don't need all 5 people there. The other people may as well just go and do something useful somewhere else on the map. Because I'm fully built here, I'm just stacking up on potions as well. Blue point is actually really useful in Rammus because it gives you 10% CDR, which is really nice. But of course, Fort Pot is really, really nice too. I have 4.5k health. 4.5k health. It's disgusting. I'm getting 500 bonus health from my Ancient Golem. It's just pretty grim, and I have ridiculous resistances. Like, even without my W, I have ridiculous resistances. I'm just ridiculous, guys. I'm just absolutely absurd. And then when we start a fight here, we want to catch someone out of position. And Rammus is very good at engaging people when they don't have very good kite. He doesn't really catch anyone by surprise when he engages as Rammus, but he does catch people. He's not like a Jarvan ulti or a Rammus ulti or an Amumu ulti where you queue in. Am I talking about ulti? Yeah, you know, like those engages where you just kind of jump in on people and catch them. With Rammus, you just speed up. They know you're coming, but then you just get faster and faster and faster, and they can't run away from you. That's basically how you engage on Rammus. But at this stage of the game, towers are nothing for us as far as fighting under them goes. We should be able to fight under these towers really easily. This is a bit of a mistake in my opinion. We have our AD carry go back to defend this. I don't know why we thought this would be a good idea to defend when we could tower dive them and stuff. But still, whatever, she defended. Blitzcrank went back too. There's no point us staying and tower diving them and then like obviously getting mopped up because we were only 3 people, and then being like, oh, why did you recall Tristana, you idiot? Why did you go back? Like that makes no sense. There's no logic behind that. Like you don't want to. Yes, you could argue she shouldn't have gone back, but at the same time, if then we make a dumb decision on top of that, it's even worse. So right now Baron is respawned, and that again has now become our #1 priority objective in this game. Like we don't, like, there's no inhibitor for us to get. Tower's also very nice too, but the Baron is probably the biggest play. That with this Baron it would help us end the game, but more importantly they're most likely going to try and contest it, and with a fight around Baron we will most likely be able to win the game. Now there's a huge minion wave pushing top, so that's a really nice place for us to go and push now. We should be able to get this tower really free, really easily. I'm pretty low, so I can't tower dive too much, but I should be able to provide some moral support, which is, you know, the best kind of support. And just going to take that down, and I should recall here because on this health, I'm not really going to be that useful. I've also got home guards and Moby boots, which means that I get back into the fray pretty quickly. As you can see, I mean, I know I'm speeding this up, but still, that's pretty much the speed of light. So we can fight this here, and I'm going to, in fact, I should do this properly rather than just getting rid of everything. How do I, oh, let's just do that all, but I want, like, fuck it, whatever. So, this is the team fight, and this is how it's going down right now. I'm going to pause this to just break down how this fight, you know, just the details of this fight. So again, it's worth noticing, I really want my minimap up here. Let me just kind of do all and then just get the minimap up. God, this is such a barbaric way of doing it. Holy crap, but whatever, it works. Okay, so again, Jace is not really in a good position when this fight starts, so we need to be cautious of that. In addition, we're kind of in a nice choke point, and their team is not amazing at AoE, but it's pretty good at AoE, especially if it aligns quite nicely and Yasuo can get a big ult off. So we need to be a bit careful. But right here, our Vel'Koz is out of position to the side here, and it allows the Lee Sin to engage onto him. And that's specifically dangerous considering the Yasuo Lee Sin interaction, where Lee Sin can kick someone and Yasuo ults onto them. So my goal in a team fight is just to try and pick off the important targets, or to try and taunt the people who are killing our important targets. And what I'm going to do is probably most likely go onto their important targets. As you can see, I'm not even paying attention to this Vel'Koz over here and to help him. Like, he's getting zoned by Lee Sin. It's a 1-for-1 trade. It's probably a good idea by Lee Sin too. It's probably worth it to zone this guy, but still, we have no Vel'Koz here, which would be really nice in this choke point. Yasuo wastes his ult pretty much on just ulting Blitzcrank, and I'm going to try and go in now and do something. But yeah, this Yasuo is also beating the crap out of Tristana, so this is probably a mistake by me too. What I'm doing here is I'm just zoning. I'm trying to go onto the priority targets, and I'm trying to get them, basically. There's not too much to say. Maybe I should be trying to help kill this Yasuo so my priority targets can do something, but really, I've made the decision. I'm not saying this is a bad decision or a correct decision, but it is a decision nonetheless to go for the enemy targets rather than to help my team. And again, yes, this cat, Vel'Koz and Lee Sin is having their own party out here. I don't even know, these guys are just having fun by themselves. But I'm zoning both Ari and Corki here. And you could argue that I zoned Janna a bit as well. She didn't really do anything in that fight. But what happens now is that I took, like, this is pretty much the end of the fight. Like, what the important parts of this fight have happened. Yasuo is dead. Our carriers are all alive, and they're now on the run. So I died, but I soaked up so much from the enemy team that definitely worth it. I didn't manage to actually catch anyone or like kill someone, but if you are playing a tank like I'm playing, then if you can just soak up as much damage as possible and protect, like, even though I didn't do any direct protection from my carries, like I didn't taunt anyone who was attacking them, I kind of did an indirect protection, because if you're soaking up all the damage yourself, then that's damage which isn't going on to your allies, which is what happened there. Now let's get all this crap back, shall we? Apart from chat, we don't need chat. So that's kind of one way to be playing fights as a tank. I mean, I died there, I didn't get to do too much, but I completely zoned like two of their very important carries, and also zoned the support for a little bit as well, and I also did a fair amount of damage to them. So it was pretty good, pretty much worth it for as far as the team fight goes for me. And we kind of come out on top, though it's really nothing spectacular. But still, Baron is still out for contention, and that's what we're going to be looking to do. But right here we just get a catch off onto Corki, which then leads to us getting a catch off onto Yasuo, which then leads to me getting a catch off onto Ari. And sadly, there's no real good finale to this game. We just catch people over and over again, and we kill them all. Which is kind of sad considering the way this game was going, but at the same time we were kind of winning this game anyway, so whatever. But that's all she wrote really for this game, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. This is like the first commentary I've done in a little while, so I am sorry if I've been a little bit off, if it wasn't amazing, it wasn't up to my usual standards. But I'm getting back in the swing of it, guys, so bear with me. But yeah, thanks so much for watching this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful. Rammus is an amazing solo queue jungler. If you want to play him, if you want to pick him up, I definitely recommend that you do so. But thanks so much for watching this video, guys. Have a great day, and I will see you in my next video.